Boardgames with Niramas. I'm Joseph, I'm here with Draco, and we are getting back to our top 10 games of 2020. We're going to do a revisited video here where we go back and give a chance to some board games that we never got a chance to play or not play enough before we did that list a year ago. So I think it's fair to do that. And it's also fun to revisit this list and see how much has changed. Do I still like these games that much that I had on here? Or are there other games maybe that has pushed their way into the list? So let's get going. We're gonna go through these games. The games that I already talked about in the previous video a year ago, I will not talk about really now. If you want to see me talk about them more, you can go back and watch that video. But I will spend some time on the new ones, the new additions to the list. Hope you enjoy it. If you do, press the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and let's get going with number 10. So, number 10, now, in my revisited, updated top 10 list from 2020, is Undaunted North Africa. And as you sort of see here, it was number 4. You can see it down in the text there. It was number 4 when I did my list last year. So it has fallen a little bit. Just a brief mention of why. I feel like after some plays, I think I enjoy the first game more, the Normandy, the Undaunted Normandy game that came out the previous year. Because North Africa added some vehicles and some more mechanics, which was cool. But I think overall, I enjoyed the first one more. Now, I still haven't played the solo thing in the reinforcement expansion that was just released. So I look forward to doing that and see how that combines with these two games. But still, it's still my number 10 here on the list. At number 9, we have my number 7 from when I made the list a year ago, Forgotten Waters. And it's fallen a little bit for me. I haven't played it again since then, but I still have good memories of it. We played this over Zoom. One of my friends had it set up on the table and everyone joined in and he just handled all the pieces. It worked really nicely. Haven't played it in physical form on my table yet. I look forward to doing that at some point. The Forgotten Waters is a cool adventure sort of campaign game. But if you want to hear more about it, go back and watch my old video. But it's still in my top 10. And coming in here at number 8, my previous 6, is The Crew. And I still enjoy The Crew, but it's fallen a little bit for me. I really look forward to playing the new one though, the new The Crew game that came out this year. I have a friend who has it, so I will play it fairly soon, and I really look forward to doing that. So that one might show up next year on my top 10 games of 2021 revisited. There's so many videos, it's like Inception style here, but yeah. Still in my top 10, do enjoy The Crew. Then, finally, at number 7, we have a new game for the list. This was not on the list last year. I think I played it basically like the same week, or like a week before I made my top 10 games of 2020. I played this one for the first time, I think. And then I played it a bunch of times after that in solo mainly. And it's a Hallertau. Hallertau is from Uwe Rosenberg. This is sort of in the line of his like farming simulator board games, basically, with Agricola and Caverna and A Feast for Odin. However, this one is a bit more streamlined and abstracted. So instead of like having individual workers that you feed and all that upkeep, you have like a major, as you see, you have a whole like house, a whole village sort of that you're moving forward in order to progress the village and get more workers as well. In this one, the workers are, you place these little blue cubes that are the workers, but then they just like go away and get new ones for the next. It's not, you don't have your specific player colored workers in this one. There's a lot of good things though in this. The main part of the game, well, the worker placement part is cool, where first time you go to an action, if it's open, then you only need 1 cube, second time you need 2, and third time you need 3 cubes. So it gets more expensive to use an action multiple times, and if someone has taken it already, then it's going to be more expensive for you to go there and do that action. But the main thing I think that sticks out for me with this game is the cards in this game. There's a lot of cards. There's 4 different decks, and there's different decks sort of that you can use different times you play. And these cards have like mini objectives sort of. So they could be like you draw a card and it tells you that, well, you need to have 8 sheep. You don't need to like do anything with them, you just need to have 8 sheep. And as soon as you have 8 sheep, you can just show the card to everyone around the table. If you're playing solo, you can just flip it over and, oh, I have 8 sheep, and you get the reward. A lot of times the reward is to draw another card. and if you're lucky, maybe that says, well, slaughter 4 sheep. Well, then you can slaughter 4 of your sheep, and you can complete that mission as well. And you build up like a tableau, basically, of cards. Some of them have ongoing effects, like an engine building part, and some of them, a lot of them, have just a one-time effect where you get something. But it's really cool how there's a lot of small combo wombo change that builds up during the gameplay, and it's really tactical because you start off with some cards, but then at the end of the game you might have a bunch of cards that you played out, and all these small objectives sort of that you complete is like constant small rewards, like dopamine kicks to your brain, like, oh, I completed this and I get something, and then I completed this and I get something. It's really fun. Now, it could be a bit swingy, I think, especially in a 2-player game, where you can sit there and like you draw cards and like, oh, this doesn't work for me at all, and then, oh, well, my opponent here, he just keeps drawing the perfect ones for his, whatever he's going for. Yeah, it is what it is. This is not some game you can play like competitive in that way, but I'm having a really good time playing this one. There's a lot of fun mechanical things. I also like, as you can see, I like that they have this little track with the resources on it. So you don't need to have like 10 wood pieces. Instead, you just have 2 of them up on the 5 slot or whatever. Really streamlined and smooth, and I really enjoy Hallertau, my number 7. Then at number 6, another new game. This is, I only played this like a month, 6 weeks ago for the first time. Wow, Planet X, The Search for Planet X. Such a good game. It's one of my most hyped games right now. It's one of the games I want to play the most right now. But that says something about this list when I was redoing it here, revisiting it, that this one only made it to the 6th place, because there were so many good games from 2020, to be honest. So The Search for Planet X is a deduction game. It's a pure deduction game. It's kind of like Sudoku almost. You are trying to find the Planet X in there's like 12 or 18 if you play the advanced mode, which I haven't dared to do yet. But if you have like 12 sectors, each sector of space holds one object. One of them will be Planet X, and you're trying to deduce where it could be. So you're trying to rule out a lot of spots where it can't be. Well, you find out that there's an asteroid somewhere. Well, then that can't be Planet X, obviously. So you narrow it down. This is a competitive game, and you're all sitting with your player shields when you play multiplayer. Or if this case, my solo playthrough here, which I can recommend you go check out because it was really fun doing that. Then you play against an app. You always use an app, no matter if you play multiplayer or solo. But in the multiplayer, the app is like, you do the action through the app, and the app has the right solution. So it keeps track of how it is. And every time you play, it's going to be different. And the clues are going to be different. And the sort of rules for how things in space relate to each other is going to be different. And some of them, there's a base set of rules that you know from the start of the game. How many comets there are, how they, the rules for asteroids, they have to be clumped together, and so on and so on. But then you can also research and find out more rules for these things, and that's different every time you play. It's hard to explain this game. It's hard to explain. It doesn't sound that fun when you hear someone explain it. I heard it myself, because this was really popular when it came out in I think mid-2020, and then it like was sold out, and I couldn't get a hold of it until recently here when they made a new printing. But I love it. It's so much fun. Planet X, The Search for Planet X, can really recommend it if you have the smallest implementation in you for liking deduction in games and logic puzzles. You have to get this one. So good. And coming in at number 5, this is Monumental. This was number 3 when I did the list last year, and I still like this game a lot. There's 2 games that are coming here higher up than 5, which has pushed this down, but I really love the Monumental. Wow, this is such a good game. It's a deck builder. I talked a lot about this, and then you have a map and super cool production. If you want to hear me ramble on about this game, go check out the old video. I could just sitting here doing it, but I'm not going to. So Monumental is still in the list, and still it's number 5 instead of number 3. Yeah, so my new number 4. This wasn't on the list last year. I hadn't played it then. I played it, I think, in May of this year, first time. Dune Imperium. Wow, how do I love this game so much, especially in solo. It's such a good solo game. It's good in multiplayer as well, but in multiplayer I feel it can be a bit mean sometimes. You gotta play this with the right group of people and having a relaxed environment. Basically, I don't want to play this game competitive against people and be like, oh, I'm gonna just ruin it for you so that I win. I guess it's in the theme of June, right? But yeah, it's not my style of gaming. So, but solo, I don't mind being mean to a bot. You know, I don't care about that. Or if the bot is mean to me, well, I will get annoyed and so on. But what can I do? You know, it's yeah, really good deck building combined with worker placement. Two of my favorite mechanisms in board games, and symmetric powers, and wow, this is so good. Now, there is an expansion that came out this year as well, The Rise of X. I haven't played it though. I really want to get hold of that. I don't have it, and it's not in the stores yet here in Sweden. I can't wait to play that one. That's gonna be cool as well. I've seen some playthroughs of it and looks really, really cool. I really like the additions that they made in the expansion. So yeah, Dune Imperium is great, and I don't even know the Dune universe or the Dune theme that much, but just the mechanics of this game and how the game feels. It's so tense, especially in the solo game. So tense, it's like really feels like you're playing against opponents, like real opponents with the automatic. Really well made. Dune Imperium, my number 4. And my number 3 was my number 2 on the original list a year ago. Top Games of 2020, Pandemic Legacy Season 0. Oh, this is so good. Now, this is my spoiler-free unboxing in the background here, so I'm not spoiling anything for the game. This is a legacy game, obviously, so you don't want to be spoiled if you're going to play it. You want to experience it for yourself. This is my favorite out of the Pandemic Legacy games, and it's just so cool. I'm playing with Draco. Yeah, having such a good time with this one, with you know, secrets, the development. Like a legacy game means that things will, the stickers, things will change. You will sticker stuff, you will rip up cards, and it's just an enjoyable ride that we're on there. We still haven't finished this one. We have a few more games left to do, which I look forward to doing here soon as well. But this is not something I'm doing a playthrough of or anything like that, because again, it's very spoilerish. But yeah, such a good production. It's really cool how I'm not a huge Pandemic fan, but this one takes place like in the 70s. It's like a Cold War spy theme in it, more than just going around curing diseases. And there's so much cool stuff in this one, and I can't talk about it because it's a legacy game. But yeah, it is still my number 3 here. It was number 2 originally, and it's great. Okay, let's head to number 2. Okay, so yeah, this was a tough decision here, but my previous one, this was my number 1 for 2020. This was Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion. Gloomhaven is my favorite game of all time, in combination with Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion, and I really like this game. Jaws of the Lion is like a streamlined, more in a sense lightweight, or like introductory, easier to get into than Gloomhaven. And I was surprised on how much I liked it, actually. I thought it would be more of a lightweight introduction, and I still enjoyed it a lot. You know, I wasn't that excited when it came out. I was like, yeah, okay, we'll see. And then I enjoyed it a lot and played it a lot just before I made this list a year ago as well. So it made my number 1 for last year, but yeah, there's a game that is even better than this. It's very slightly better, but it's better. If you want to hear me talk more about Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion, go back, watch the old video. And now let's talk about my new number 1. So my number 1 from 2020 in the revisit list here. I'm probably not going to revisit this again. So this is my number 1 from 2020. It is Lost Ruins of Arnak. Wow, this game is so good. Now, this is the video here that you're seeing in the background is me playing with the just released expansion, which is my favorite expansion of this year. Super good expansion, but I'm not counting the expansion when I think about ranking this, because that one didn't exist in 2020, right? So I'm just looking at 2020. So just the base game of Lost Ruins of Arnak is slightly better than Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion. It's very close on those two. But I'm having such a good time with this. I play this solo. There's a solo campaign that you can play for. You can go print and play for free from CGE's website, a solo campaign, or you can play it as I did with just using my screen and the web app for it. There's a web app online. So you can play a solo campaign, which is really fun. I had a great time playing through that. And then the solo game is good. The multiplayer game is really good. I like it on all player counts. It scales very well. What you're doing in the game is so much fun with deck building combined with worker placement. It's a bit similar in that sense to Dune Imperium, but I like this one more. This has like no attacking actions or anything like that. And you always feel like you can block each other, but you always feel like you're competing in a good way, like in a fair way that I enjoy in Euro games. It's very thematic. The card play, everything just works so nicely integrated. I like the deck building more in this one than I do in Dune Imperium as well. In this one you have two different types of cards. So you have artifacts and items, and they work a bit differently. I like that there's innovation to deck building as well, where you don't have a discard pile. Instead, you play cards in your play area, then you shuffle up all those cards and put them under your deck, and then you draw for your next round. So by planning, you can make sure that you get some cards into your hand and so on, which is interesting. It adds another layer to the whole deck building thing. Really, really well made. The production is amazing. I mean, here I have this like really nice printed thing on the E-Raptor UV print insert, which is great. It's the best insert I ever seen for a game. So that adds to the experience as well. I have painted my my tablet tokens a little bit with wash. Yeah, wow, this game is so good. And with the expansion now, I'm not going to talk about it too much because it is in 2020. But yeah, I'm so excited to just keep playing this game a bunch. And I'm going to make more videos of this on the channel as well coming up. So solo videos and so on. Lost Ruins of Arnak is such a good game, and it is my favorite game from 2020. Hope you enjoyed this list. Hope you enjoyed the format. Tell me in the comment section, what do you think about this format? Do you like me doing this? Coming in a year later, giving a new list for the previous year. I think I really felt like I needed to do it now, and credit where credit's due. Gamer Rules, Paul Grogan, really nice guy with the Gamer Rules YouTube channel. He did his top 10 list of 2020, and that inspired me to actually go back and do a revisit. Now, a few days ago, if you haven't seen already, a few days ago, I did my top 10 games of 2021 list. But in that video, I also mentioned that is more like a first impression video, right? And then I will revisit that in a year to make it more fair to the games and to give you, the viewers, the best information or review that I can do for the games. That's the goal of everything, right? So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. I sure did enjoy making the list and playing all these games, and I look forward to just more games in the next year. Happy New Year, everyone who's watching. I hope we will all have a better year next year in so many ways, and I look forward to new games coming out and lots of fun gaming experiences. Thank you so much for all the support for the channel this year. Really appreciate it. All the likes, comments, patrons, all the support, everyone watching. Thank you so much, and have a great evening or morning, or whenever you're watching. Take care. Bye-bye.
Breathe in. Look into these eyes. Subscribe to the channel. Now, exhale.